Our next guest is demanding to codify cuts in Congress ASAP. We're talking about the DOGE cuts. Let's bring in Florida Congresswoman Paulina Luna. Congresswoman, great to see you. So the first Recision package, love that word because it means, well, it sounds like pair of scissors, giant pair of scissors. $9.4 billion is what's been introduced. It cuts spending on USAID, foreign aid, and then public TV and radio, so PBS, the Committee for Public Broadcasting. So Recision package $9.4 billion, that is less than 1/10 of what we paid in interest on the national debt just last month, to put it in perspective. How much more do we need to do, or how much more is Congress even willing to do?
I think that we need to do a lot more. In fact, I would prefer that Congress could get back to pre-pandemic levels of spending. And even then, so I know a lot of people talk about when the last time the budget was actually balanced. And that was a very, very long time ago. I think I was maybe about 5 years old when that happened. So the fact is that these are all goals that are attainable, but it would require Congress to do their job, which is why you've been seeing me absolutely nuke my own party, because I do believe that, you know, President Trump brought us over the finish line in the midterm. Obviously, over 77 million voted in favor of Trump's policies. And so it's the least that we can do. Now, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, you know, we are waiting for reconciliation. Remember, for those that might not know the parliamentary procedures of reconciliation, reconciliation votes only require about 51 versus the 60 threshold in the Senate to pass legislation. And so, look, the Senate's going to have to do their job. And I also want to advise people that the Senate is going to be sending back a version of the bill that we voted out of the House that might have some tweaks. And I would urge all of my colleagues in the Senate to look and make sure that more is actually cut in regards to the pork that was loaded into the initial big, beautiful bill. However, I'm going to also say that, yes, I have spoken to Speaker Johnson now multiple times this week and today, especially. And I can tell you that the first Recision package is going to be one of many. And then also starting next week, we are also going to be voting on codifying not just Trump's executive orders, but some of those DOGE savings. And so, look, the Dems are saying that we're going after Medicare and Social Security. That's actually false. We're actually protecting these programs for generations to come by getting rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse.
You know, Congresswoman, ignore the Democrats. Ignore the canned lies that Dagan talked about. They're going to call you names no matter what you do. And on the Recision, you can start cutting right now, tomorrow morning. This vote is there. It's privileged. It can be brought to the floor and done, and you can go to the next one. On reconciliation and the Senate, and hopefully they go deeper with the cuts, if that comes back and the parliamentarian says yes, I don't see why it should not get done right now. That's another one. The date's certain. Just get it back. It's already as clean as it gets. Go deeper.
I agree. I think right now the Senate has been working bankers' hours, and it's also frustrating because they're also sitting on nominations that the president put forward to include ambassadors, et cetera. So the Senate and Thune need to get more aggressive on the schedule. But I agree, and I've been pushing the speaker and I've been pushing the leadership. A lot of people don't understand the process. So really, there's a House Rules Committee. They tee up all of the legislation that comes to the floor, and then we all vote on it. I think we should have started voting on this stuff the day after we swore into the new 119th Congress. But again, I'm not the speaker, I'm not the majority leader. And so I'm going to continue to apply pressure the way that I have been. But I do think that if we are going to really protect our generation for futures to come, we also need to get serious about the spending. And so I am one of the top 5 most conservative members of Congress, according to my voting record, and I continue to carry out what I'm saying I'm going to be doing.
Not everybody wants to cut spending more. Josh Hawley wants to put spending back in that was taken out for Medicaid. I don't know what was taken out that would possibly hurt anybody in his state, because again, it's just slowing the spending growth. Susan Collins has issues. Tom Tillis wants his doesn't want his green energy handouts taken away from him. But really quickly, I just want to get your reaction. When the debt ceiling is lifted, the Treasury is going to borrow over $1 trillion to replenish its cash account. The debt will be $38 trillion by September. What will your constituents say to that, Congresswoman?
You know, I can tell you that my constituents are very much so in support of President Trump's agenda, but they're also trusting me to try to do something about the debt and to ensure that we can get to a balanced budget. I can tell you that in regards to raising the debt ceiling, I do not want to do that. I do not think that that is a good fiscal move. But I can also tell you right now, I'm hoping that if we continue to trust President Trump with his foreign policy in regards to tariffs as well, and then also the economy, we might actually be able to turn the ship around. Remember, under Biden, there was a lot spent. We were handed a broken economy.
Yep.
And also, too, the former speaker, Kevin McCarthy, put the whole debt ceiling negotiation on this administration's lap. So it's a lot, but we'll get through it. We can't continue doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Congressman, remember, dynamic. Remember that word in Congress, and score it that way. Thank you, Congresswoman Paulina Luna. Great to see you.